Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Beautiful Rosie. I'm really privileged to have Rosie as a colleague and a mentor and a friend, in that Rosie and I have known each other for what, 6-7 years now, something like that, through our work. And I've invited Rosie to talk a little bit more about PSYCH-K. She's a certified PSYCH-K instructor, and I've done most of the workshops for PSYCH-K with Rosie, and it's been an amazing journey for myself, and I wanted to share PSYCH-K with so many people, and the best way to do it is to bring this beautiful instructor in to tell you all about it. So, yeah. So Rosie, tell us about how you came to find PSYCH-K and what it's all about.
Okay.
Big question.
Yeah, and I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Yeah,
Beautiful.
lovely. Thank you so much for having me on today. And yeah, what a joy to share this with you. PSYCH-K is a really simple and effective way of transforming subconscious limiting beliefs and perceptions to ones that support you. Very simple, not complicated, very self-responsible set of processes. A workshop enables you to facilitate with yourself. So after a 3-day workshop, you can go home and do the change processes whenever you meet any belief system challenge in life. And you can also facilitate with other people, friends and family. So it's a really amazing toolkit that you take home for life. It helps you line up supportive beliefs and perceptions at subconscious mind that are going to support your conscious desires and goals. And it also helps you transform perception of stress to a state of peace, which is really valuable. Yeah. My intro to PSYCH-K was for personal reasons. Like, as you know, I've got a health background, which is how we connected in the first place. That's been my life for 30 years. Since leaving school, one from one type to another. Started with nursing, and then got interested in naturopathy and nutrition and biochemistry, energy medicine, biofeedback. And when my life hit a very challenging time, I realized I didn't really have the toolkit to help me change the perception of stress that I was pretty much held hostage by at that time. And came across PSYCH-K through Bruce Lipton, who is the author of Biology of Belief and the Honeymoon Effect. He's a cell biologist, one of my favourite people on planet Earth. Love watching his stuff and hearing his wisdom. And he mentioned that PSYCH-K was his favourite form of energy psychology that helped him in his life to really get his subconscious beliefs on track. And I thought, well, if it's good enough for Bruce Lipton, it's probably good enough for me. And found my way to the first PSYCH-K workshop that was on after hearing about it, which was about, I think, only a week later. Bought some plane tickets, flew to the other side of the country, ended up at a workshop. Came home and started applying the processes for change with myself, and noticed some differences, but the really validating thing was a lot of friends, colleagues, family members would say, wow, something's actually changed. What have you done? And that was when I really noticed that PSYCH-K was very profound and powerful, very simple. The changes were so natural and organic that sometimes I hadn't been validating my own growth. It was only kind of retrospect that I thought, oh wow, I'm dealing with that with a lot more peace. I'm in the same situation, but I'm feeling really at peace and okay with it, and seeing the growth opportunities rather than the stress responses. So that for me was really a gift. And that's when I really started seeing the applications for other people, and especially in my workplace, really started noticing how so many people could benefit from the same thing. And really my radar kept on going off, wow, we could do PSYCH-K, we could help transform beliefs around this, around that, around the other, and really became very passionate around the potential of growth using these processes. Yeah.
I'm writing these beautiful words you've got down, because there's a few words that have really stuck out there, and one is the toolkit. The toolkit that PSYCH-K is. It is a toolkit. I call it a treasure trove. Like, you can just keep bringing things out. But a toolkit is great because, especially as a practitioner in the health area, so many people come in and you know, have limiting beliefs over being healthy, even, you know, and I can't eat this and I can't eat that, and you know, I've got a lot of stress in my life. And in the old days, we just used to, you know, send them home with prescriptions of stuff, and now we work with their mind with PSYCH-K, and it's just a blessing. The other word you said was the flow, and can I just get you to elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by the flow? What I see happening with my own life with PSYCH-K is that now that I'm clear, my mind is free of the self-limiting beliefs I have, things flow. Is there anything you can bring, and it might go back to with Bruce Lipton's biology belief, it might go back into that a little bit. Why do things still flow when we're freer in the mind? What's the go there?
I think the easiest way to explain that is that when we're in stress or when we're in conflict, we're not at our full response potential. When we're at peace with something and we don't have that conflict, we are able to bring our full response potential of our ability to react to a situation. So we're not reacting from past experiences or in a well-worn groove, if you like. So say if I've had an accident on a dirt road, which is what happened to me when I was younger, every time I drove on a dirt road, it would be like my whole body would seize up and I'd be anticipating a challenge on the dirt road. Once I unplugged the stress from the dirt road experience and transform that perception to a state of peace, then now when I drive on a dirt road, I'm curious, it's a new experience, I bring my full response potential to the dirt road experience.
Wow.
So this is what we do with PSYCH-K, is we create this beautiful whole brain state, this full response potential that we can gift to our life experiences. From that state, opportunities that maybe we didn't see because we were so hooked up in the stress, all of a sudden we can see all the possibilities and all the open doors that present themselves. And I think that's the flow. I think, wow, we're in the zone, we're in the flow, we're being able to respond.
That's just the best explanation that we could expect to hear. Thank you. And it's the passion, isn't it? It's the passion behind knowing how many people this has helped. And as an instructor, you're going out and helping tenfold because you're bringing people in, you know, and teaching them how to facilitate with others. So that's the other thing too that I try and what I'd like you to explain is that we're not doing it for people with PSYCH-K. We're not, as a facilitator or an instructor, we're facilitating with someone. So can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I can. It's one of the reasons I love PSYCH-K so much. One of the reasons. One of the many reasons.
There's a few.
There's a few. It's we're not healing anybody or fixing anybody because we can't. We can only be responsible for here, our part. You know, we can be responsible for our growth, our healing, our life experience. We cannot be responsible for somebody else's. It's just not possible. We're not in their head. We're not in their experience of life. We can share it, but we're not responsible for them. They are. And this beautiful set of processes and our way of facilitating, not healing or being a practitioner, we're just facilitating our partner's growth. So we're meeting our partner where they are. We're asking them how things are for them and what they're wanting, and we're helping them achieve that and share that with their subconscious mind, and then talking about action steps that they can take to carry that forward. It's all driven by our partner. So they're really in the driver's seat and we're just helping facilitate the change. It's amazing. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do that with people.
It is. And there's not a lot of modalities. A lot of modalities work, but there's not a lot of modalities that sit back and allow the space for the person to do this for themselves.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons it's so effective. It's our partner or the person creating the change is putting their hand up for the change, and that's powerful in itself.
Yeah.
In PSYCH-K, we also make sure that what we're going to do is safe and appropriate. So we also invite the superconscious mind in, which is kind of like the gatekeeper, and we make sure that whatever we're going to change subconsciously is going to be appropriate in the bigger picture of our life. So we're also honouring mind, body, and spirit. So we're really, it's such a holistic, inclusive set of processes. And I think that is also really valid and valuable.
Yeah. And so in terms of the process of PSYCH-K, is there an easy way to explain what someone might expect in a session?
Yeah, I think it's super simple. Another reason I like PSYCH-K is it's simple, it's not complicated. The facilitator tries to keep it as simple as possible. That's one of the key things. And really just, it's a 4-step process. We really ask our partner how things are, we identify how they want it to be, and then we form that new destination in a language that the subconscious mind can understand. Then we enter into a process, we call them balances, but we enter into one of those balance processes where the subconscious mind can engage with the new destination. Then we save it and talk about how we're going to activate it in our 3D reality. So really it's a very simple process. Yeah. Anybody can engage in a PSYCH-K balance.
Absolutely. And including children.
Absolutely, including children.
Yes. So we'll talk a little bit about the way that people we can facilitate with people if they want to have a session of PSYCH-K. Runs for 20 minutes or 40 minutes or something like that, and then we can go to workshops and become PSYCH-K facilitators and use that for ourselves or for others. So can you talk a little bit about the workshops and the what you do as an instructor?
Sure. So to learn PSYCH-K or to become a facilitator for PSYCH-K, you need to take a 3-day basic workshop. It's a foundational workshop. It's a 3-day experiential group workshop where you get to learn all the theory and all the practice of the processes. And you get plenty of practice time. So you're actually changing and transforming beliefs on the first day of the workshop. So by the end of the first day, you've really learnt the processes, I call it. You learn to drive the car on the first day. The second day, you learn the roadmap. You learn how to create the new destinations. And the third day, you're really pulling it all together and learning how to use PSYCH-K in your daily life. So it's really stepped beautifully. The 3 days really give you all that you need, that you can go home then and practice and facilitate PSYCH-K in your own life, and then certainly facilitate with friends and family. Generally, I really encourage people after the workshop to stay in touch. I have like a Zoom call once a month. At the moment it's once a week because we have the time. Generally it's once a month where new facilitators can hop on, ask questions and clarifications. So there's that kind of, after the workshop, you're not just kind of let loose. Well, you let loose, but you're not kind of left floundering it, or there's plenty of time to ask questions and clarifications.
And lots of questions come up.
Practice groups. Yeah, that's right. Because you learn so much in a workshop and you're really trying to take everything in, and it's when you get home and you're applying it that you go over the material, and sometimes you just need a little bit of clarification. So there's all that as part of it, really. After the basic workshop, there are other workshops. They're not mandatory. They're not. There's no have to or shoulds in PSYCH-K. So there are. If you wanted to take it to a more professional level where you can facilitate online with people at a distance, there is something called the Master Facilitation Workshop, which is amazing. It really helps you to master facilitation a bit more effectively. Learn to do distance sessions, which is wonderful. And then, or you could do something called the Advanced Integration Workshop, which adds more balances, more processes that you can learn. both of them are great. I love all the workshops. I'm able to instruct all of them apart from the health and wellbeing workshop, which is an amazing 4-day workshop that you can do after the advanced if you like, and it's really looking at using PSYCH-K specifically for health and wellbeing conditions and situations.
And
then there's
one
the
more beautiful one.
Divine Integration Retreat. Is that the one you're thinking of? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's a 3-day retreat. It's not a workshop. You have to have done the advance to go into the Divine Integration Retreat. It's a gift for yourself and the instructor. So I love doing those 2 to 3 times a year. And again, you have to have done the advance, but it gives you 3 days to really work with yourself, facilitate with yourself and your own growth and your own connection to divinity. Yeah.
So in order to do the Divine Integration, you need the basic foundational workshop.
Yeah.
And then
the advanced integration. Yeah.
And then you can do the Divine. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And the same with the health and wellbeing program. You need to have done the basic foundational course and also the advanced integration. Yeah.
Sure. And you hold them at different places around Australia, the workshops?
I do. I hold them in Adelaide and internationally. Adelaide, Perth, Melbourne, Gold Coast, Canberra, Hobart. Sometimes I head across to New Zealand, Auckland, and then I also go to Europe. I have Denmark, Croatia and Greece and Portugal this year, and also to Malaysia, Singapore and Bali. Yeah.
Are you ever home?
Frequent flyers. I do. I try to keep a fairly good balance. I'm so blessed. I have people like you in Adelaide. So when I travel, it's almost like their second homes, and because I go there quite frequently, it feels very relaxed and at home also. So
and the people can do, or facilitators can redo workshops if you come back and they want to resit one. And because it becomes more of a family, really, the PSYCH-K facilitation workshops. It's a lovely experience to be involved in this community, and it's growing quite quickly too. Do you feel like there's a bigger picture for PSYCH-K in terms of why people are and why people find PSYCH-K? Is there something else that PSYCH-K is bringing to humanity, to us?
Yeah, good question. I think yes, I do.
Yeah.
I think there's such an integrous thought form around PSYCH-K. It's being held so pristinely and in a lot of integrity by the originator, Rob Williams, and also by the instructors. There are 30 plus instructors in the world, and we all teach it the same around the world. We all hold it in high esteem. There are background principles and philosophy that are really far beyond self-development and much more towards self-realization. So that I think that we're of an age now in this world that a lot of us are seeking that growth for ourselves. And this is where PSYCH-K kind of comes into our life. It's like PSYCH-K finds us when we're really asking those sorts of questions and wanting that sort of growth. We stumble across it, or synchronicities happen that it falls into our path. And I think there's also the principles of nature that we hold really dear in PSYCH-K. So it's helping us to align with the principles of nature so that we can live more sustainable, happier lives. And it really addresses this illusion of separation that Western cultures especially seem to have. We have this idea that we may be separate from each other, or different to everybody else on the planet, and that we're separate from nature and we're separate from divinity and spirituality. And this PSYCH-K really helps address that dispelling that illusion of separation and really helping us see that actually there is a law of one that underpins everything in this world, and it helps us to reconnect to that connection with nature and connection with each other. So it's beautiful. I think we're ready for that now. I think this is why PSYCH-K is becoming so much more popular.
And even just the current what's going on around the world. People are now, you know, so much more grateful that they've had the time to stop and actually take things in, whereas life was so fast and busy for many, many people, that they haven't been able to just stop and take in what's around them, you know, the things that matter the most. So it's amazing. I know that when I come out of some of the workshops, it's almost like there's rainbows in the sky and everything's peaceful and beautiful. It's amazing. All right. So if people want to find a workshop or a facilitator, what do they do?
Okay, the first port of call that I would recommend to anybody who's looking for a workshop is to visit the PSYCH-K International page, because that's got all the instructors all around the world giving the workshops, and there's a list. So you can just type in the country, and there's a search engine on that. So if you go find a workshop, type in the country, and it'll come up with whoever's giving workshops in that country. If there aren't workshops in your country, approach an instructor. You know, most instructors are really happy if there's a group of people that are wanting a workshop in an area, and it is enough to warrant traveling there and creating a venue and accommodation and everything. Then most instructors are really happy to build that area and offer that service in that area. So that would be the first port of call. Or you can come to my website if you're looking for one of the areas that I'm at. My website's mindsalign.com.au, and my workshops are all listed there also. If you're wanting a facilitator, there's, again, the PSYCH-K International page has got, if you look at the top, there's a search engine, and it's finding a session, and they've got a list of preferred facilitators or affiliates. And they're people that have done, as you know, the basic and the master facilitation workshop. So they've actually, or they've done the basic, advanced, and health and wellbeing. So they're people that have got the experience to be able to give a session online, and they've also taken that extra workshop training to really grow their facilitation experience. So, and there's a list of people on that site too. So that would be, again, my go-to. I'm actually thinking about having, especially in Australia, the people that have done the master facilitation workshop on my website too, to make it a bit easier for people.
Right.
But
yeah,
at this point in time, yeah, I think it'd be a great idea. There's quite a few around the world, and they're great. So yeah, you are one. So
thank you. I love being a PSYCH-K facilitator. I would do it 12 hours a day if I could, and I completely love going out to nature and doing PSYCH-K and facilitating. I've found some beautiful spaces that I've taken you to, and they're up in, you know, natural areas. It's just lovely because you're actually in nature, blending in as well, so it's peaceful. All right, I think, is there anything else that you want to go? I wanted to ask you quickly, because I'm blessed that you were able to hold one of the first children workshops, and so age groups and things like that. I know my son, I just had to have him at that workshop. Whatever was going on, I was taking him, and just to see the children sitting in a workshop, are they going to be presented to more people? Yeah, I hope so. I'm organising one in Perth later on this year, another PSYCH-K workshop for kids, basic PSYCH-K workshop for kids. And I think other instructors are thinking about doing them, maybe a couple around the world, and see how they go. And then we'll, collectively look at doing them a bit more frequently. But certainly I'll be doing another one in Perth later on this year. Right. And the age group that we had for the one that Thomas came to was from 9 to 14. Yep. And so 7 to 14. I'm thinking of just lifting it a little bit to maybe the 9 to 14. Yep. Only because there's reading involved, and sometimes the words on the packets are long. Yeah. So there's a little bit of comprehension involved, but I think it went really well. I know all the kids really enjoyed it. They're still using it, so I think it's great. Yeah. And it gives, for kids to learn this tool at such an early age, just provide them with abilities, superpowers. Yeah, absolutely. And can you imagine the peace in their lives from an early age, rather than having to get to this age and have to do it all now? Yeah, well,
Really,
thank you.
so
It was a blessing to be at all of your workshops, and some of them are confronting, but the PSYCH-K process allows you to come to that state of peace, and I certainly know in my own world that I feel free. It's so freeing to have this modality to be able to use on myself, and then see others' lives, and to see the penny drop for them, and they just go, oh, wow, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And we're just lucky, blessed to be able to do this with people. So yeah, it's amazing. Well, thank you very much. It's been lovely talking to you, and I can't wait for you to be in Adelaide again. I've got the dates down, so
yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah. And so, is there anything else before you finish today that you want to share? Or
I think we've shared a good amount of stuff. I'm really happy to be approached. If people want to ask questions, they can just shoot me an email.
Right.
I'm good at correspondence, so happy
you
to
are very good at correspondence.
Questions. Yeah.
All right, gorgeous. Thank you so much, Rosie.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll pop
Pleasure.
all the
Thank you
details.
so much.
Yeah, I'll put all the details for people in the link with the video, and links to your site, links to the PSYCH-K International, and the facilitators. I'm one of them. Rosie's one of them. So anyone can see any of us and go from there.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Have a beautiful day.
Yeah, you too. You too from rainy Canberra. Yeah.
Yeah. Be snowing there soon, hey?
Yeah, I think we have snow in the mountains.
Oh, wow.
As of last night. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So. All right. Stay warm.
We will. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
See you.